Walker for CapitalWeatherGain.com. Thanks so much for joining me on these weekly Sunday sunset chats. I hope you are coping fair enough with the time change in our earlier sunsets and earlier sunrises for that matter as well. And we'll go through how the week looks pretty serene, and we're going to bounce between 60s, 70s, 60s, 70s with a cooler and perhaps rainier end to this week. All right, I will let you know the latest is at CWG.news/latest. Here's your kind of graphical forecast at a glance, and that's my PM update. You can go directly to the link there or to CapitalWeatherGain.com. We're there on the blog for you 24/7. Julia, thanks so much for tuning in from YouTube. I hope you had a nice weekend as well. It does, mild to warm. It's maybe not a full, consistent warm up this week, but honestly, it's pretty much consistently above average. We should be closer to kind of upper 50s, low 60s this time of year. So even 60s tomorrow should be a hair above average, and then warm again Tuesday, warm again Thursday. It's kind of every other day until we kind of keep it maybe in the 50s Friday onward for the foreseeable future at that medium term horizon. Hello, Peter. Thanks so much for tuning in from Facebook. Good evening, David. Hope you are doing well. Let's dive into how the temperatures are kind of bouncing around this week, oscillating between 60s tomorrow after 70s today. Then we're back snapping into the warmth again on Tuesday. Wednesday cools down just a little bit with maybe a chance of a stray shower building in. Thursday, warmer again. And Friday with rain chances moving in. And clouds, we could be cooler Friday. And look at that, Saturday could be in the 50s, but clearing out perhaps for your outdoor plans. It might be dry. Clouds are off and on this week. I think overall pretty bright skies. And maybe if we're lucky, assuming you want to see as much sun as possible during our shorter days of the year, some of these clouds, the cloudiest conditions do time pretty well for overnight hours. So until maybe rain chances ramp up later Thursday into Friday, we should have off and on clouds allowing for pretty bright skies this week and not much rain chance behind it. Not much rain expected to fall from these off and on clouds this week until maybe later Thursday into Friday and Friday night. Perhaps as it stands now, we can clear things out for your weekend plans by mid to late morning on Saturday, but timing still kind of lower confidence when looking that far out onto the time horizon there. But unfortunately, we do need the rain, and we don't have but maybe a quarter to a third of an inch accumulating over the next 7 days. Much of this, if not all of it, focused on kind of that later Thursday into later Friday time frame, kind of that 36-hour period into maybe very early Saturday. And this is just not good. We are starting to really need the rain. I know growing season is over, but just in the last 2 weeks, we are down 1 up to 2 inches in some of the driest spots in the Shenandoah Valley, Skyline Drive, highest elevations along the I-81 corridor. Longer term, still a persistent severe D2 level drought there in Virginia along the I-81 corridor, Shenandoah Valley. I'm hearing from many of you this past week, we need rain, and you're not wrong. Michael, happy birthday. Glad you had a really good birthday today. Ruth Elisa, a little bit windy on Tuesday, but I don't foresee wind being a major issue this week. Good luck voting. I hope you have a good afternoon class as well. Rick, maybe no rain until later Thursday into maybe Friday. There are some maybe measurable rain chances moving in at the end of the week. And I know, David, I'm not sure about these early 5 p.m. chats either now that we have earlier and earlier sunsets. It is quite a change. I'm on Facebook, X, and YouTube right now. Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGain.com. Pollen doing just fine. Pollen and spores are behaving this time of year. It helped that we had our kind of season-ending frosts and freezes recently. But yes, shorter and shorter days, earlier and earlier sunrises and sunsets as we've shifted everything an hour earlier. Just last night at 2 a.m. became 1 a.m. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGain.com. Let me know if you have any questions or comments as we go through our forecasts. And of course, you have been asking about the winter outlook. We should still target our Capital Weather Gang official release for mid-November by Thanksgiving for sure, I think. But we have some thoughts, and we kind of collect some other data from other experts and teleconnections globally. Some of the data that might affect our winters also here at CWG.news/winter. So check that out. I know there is a lot of you wanting to kind of think ahead to winter, even though we're still taking time to get things together for you. All right, here's the latest forecast at a glance graphically and my latest PM update there for you. I'm Camden Walker, CapitalWeatherGang.com. Anytime you need us, we're there 24/7. Direct link to my PM update at CWG.news/latest. And let's see, let me catch up on comments. We've got Ruth Elisa being kind with happy birthday wishes for Michael. And we've got Ruth Elisa asking about, I think Arizona is exempt from daylight saving. Montana may have been petitioning, and parts of maybe New Mexico. It's such a patchwork. I only remember for sure parts of Indiana and parts of Arizona for sure. But state by state, it's a case-by-case basis getting federal permission. I don't think that comes easily over the past decades. So that's why there's so few spots that observe different time, non-time changes during these times of year, these switches. All right, Renee is doing that rain dance. I love it. I love seeing you every week, Renee, doing rain dances. We definitely need it in the region. And Michael, I would like to pick one. I can't remember where I stand if I want summer daylight saving time all year round or standard time all year round. I think I lean toward daylight all year round, but I'll double check that. I forget. I need to inform my opinion. Ideally, you have the highest sun angle in the sky, the solar noon, where the sun is highest in the sky every day, as close as possible to noon on your watch, but that is not always the case depending on where you are in the time zone, so it's tricky. Summer in Australia, Ruth Lisa, that is confirmed. Rick, let's look ahead to the tropics. I love that question. I was prepared to give good news for any of us weary of this active tropical season. It is finally quieting down. No activity expected to develop in the next 7 days, so that is we can take a break. That is some solace. November 30th is the final day of Atlantic hurricane season, so we will, keep a slight eye for a few more weeks on things. We have 2 more names on our list that could develop if they choose to. We've got we have Vince and Whitney. Vince and Whitney are the 2 letters left, V and W, on our list for the tropics this year in the tropical Atlantic. All right, Jenny thinks standard time is better for the body. And let's see, Joe's talking about Indiana, went to daylight time a few years ago. So it's just Arizona, Hawaii, and the territories that don't do DST now. Thanks for that. And Ruth Lisa, I think Joe addressed your question about Alaska and Hawaii. That's excellent. I love when you guys answer each other's questions before I can see them, though. Sorry about that. And, oh, wow, West Virginia had really good color, Charlene. Let's check on the foliage really quick. I think this is kind of near and past peak for, much of the region, probably our last foliage report of the season. But it is pretty darn gorgeous around the region right now. Unless you're near, right on the shore of the Chesapeake Bay, you still have a little bit more time down the Hampton Roads as well for peak color. But I hope you've enjoyed fall. It is kind of ending. The foliage colors are peaking. And try and get out and enjoy it this week. We have some decently serene weather, 60s and 70s, bouncing around. A pretty comfortable temperature regime this week as we go up and down between 60s and 70s, alternating days for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But, good times to be had overall. Looking ahead to precipitation, leaning below average with slight probability for next work week, which is not great news because we continue to need the rain, and we'll go into those details in a second. Probability for above average temperatures, moderate. We have a moderate chance for above average temperatures for next work week. Keep in mind, above average now could be 60 to 65 degrees. We are losing about 11 degrees from November 1st for our average high to November 30th for our average high. So we go from mid 60s to start the month for average high temperatures in, around the Beltway of DC to mid 50s around the Beltway for the end of November average high temperatures. So keep that in mind. Our benchmark is sinking cooler and cooler. So no longer do we look at this kind of orange shaded, warm colored map and think of necessarily warm conditions for our bodies as we go deeper and deeper into fall. Ruth, Lisa, and Joe, that's awesome. You guys figured that out. And do you think we'll get any supplemental lists with the hurricanes, David? I think we're okay. We're fairly safe, not guaranteed. As we get into November, things quiet down. So I think with tropics remaining quiet over the next 7 days, most likely, and November 30th, usually it is the last day of official hurricane season. And we've seen fewer and fewer December storms develop in recent years. So I think the last two names on the list for the tropical Atlantic named storms this year are pretty safe. Hello, Maria. Thanks so much for tuning in. Alexander is having good color this week. That's good to hear, Michael. I assume this observed color, I think from November recently. This is the most recent observed data that I could find, but I hope this matches what you're seeing in Alexandria, Michael. And we've got Ruth Elisa and David. And Ruth Elisa, yep, we have not run out of names yet for hurricanes. We still have V and W. Vince and Whitney, I believe, are the last two names for on our list for the tropical Atlantic. But there is a supplemental list from the World Meteorological Organization behind that. But again, it's looking pretty quiet for the next 7 days, and only a couple weeks behind this for the end of hurricane season on November 30th. So I think we're good. I'm taking a break. Hope you can take a break as well. And let's see, doing a Veterans Day. Paul's doing a Veterans Day next Saturday. It looks like you're going to be running. And if you can maybe delay later in the day Saturday, the rain has a better chance of clearing. Might linger a little bit on Saturday morning as it looks now, Paul. So I hope the track can be dry and clear for you this upcoming weekend. But later currently looks a little better on Saturday. Low, medium confidence at best when looking that far out. Let me get you back to the forecast at a glance while I check comments and questions. I'm Cameron Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Let me know if you have any questions or comments on the upcoming week forecast. We're doing our weekly Sunday sunset chat. Latest forecast at CWG.news/latest. This is my PM update. You can find that at CapitalWeatherGang.com, where we are on the blog 24/7. Graphical forecast here, kind of showing you how we bounce between 60s and 70s from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then 50s from Friday onward. And for that medium-term future, perhaps it could be in the 50s for the weekend as well. We'll see. This currently has kind of 60s for Friday, but that could, depending on how much rain chance we see on Friday. If it grows, we could be a little bit cooler. But if it dries out as we get closer to Friday, we could still see 60s on Friday as well. Yeah, David, 70s today, and then every other day going into kind of Thursday. That's our last kind of warm day for the foreseeable future. Lewis, hoping for some foreseeable or for some measurable snow this winter. So make sure you see not our official winter outlook just yet, but at CWG.news/winter, Lewis, you can find our latest combing of the data of perspectives from other experts around the region and what things the tea leaves are pointing to, the teleconnections around the globe, how it might affect our winter. Kind of a preliminary gathering of our thoughts and data as we hopefully by mid-November, and I think usually before Thanksgiving, we'll get you our official winter outlook, Lewis. Let's see. All right, Chad, I'm sorry to hear you're getting some September hailstorm damage reports still there from Williamsport, Maryland, knee roof and siding. So good plan. You don't have much chance for rain there before Thursday, so if you can get that done in the next 4 business days, I think you got a decent window. I'm not going to guarantee a stray shower couldn't pop up, but it's a pretty good bet. I hope you get that fixed soon. Best wishes for that. And let's see, we've got your most welcome Chad and David enjoying the warmth. I think you're liking how there's a decent amount of warmth in our forecast for this upcoming week as we bounce between 60s and 70s for the first 4 days of our work week. And then we might trail off and cool at the end of the weekend as rain chances are there for us. Hopefully some measurable rain chances, but it might not add up to too much late Thursday into very early Saturday. That's the time frame as it looks now, maybe a quarter to a third of an inch. That is not quite enough for much of our region, which is really needing some rain. But here it is, maybe some pop-up showers, very quick showers until more organized, perhaps measurable rain moves in later Thursday into Friday and Friday nights, trying to get it out of here by this weekend for your weekend outdoor plans. Clouds will be off and on, associated with maybe a stray shower at most until later Thursday into Friday, when more organized rain is expected to move in. But bright skies overall. We want more rain though. The last 14 days we've run a deficit. Just to get even, we need 1 to 2 inches of rain in much of the region just to fill in the last 2 weeks worth of rainfall deficit. Longer term, not a pretty picture, especially in the northern Shenandoah Valley, northern areas of the I-81 corridor in Virginia. A D2 level drought there is a severe drought in the medium orange there on the scale from drought.gov. All right, let me check. I've seen some comments come in. I'm right now on Facebook, X, and YouTube taking all of your questions and comments for a weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. On there another 5 minutes, it looks like. Latest forecast, I have my PM update here at CapitalWeatherGang.com, but a direct link is CWG.news/latest. All right, we've got Joe Fox on Facebook. Is that forecast for Thursday, Friday a strong front or just passing moisture? I would call it, if you want a classification, I'll call it like a medium storm system with a medium strength front. It does offer, it kind of brings down cooler air with it back into the 50s, it looks like, by the weekend, knocking us back toward kind of, let's call it seasonably cool. It's not going to be unheard of to be in the 50s this time of year, maybe just a hair below average, but by the end of November, that's our average highs are generally in the mid 50s around the Beltway. But that's what I expect for this weekend. All right, we've got David with the snow last year. Do you think we'll break last year's snowfall? I think about average snowfall is on the table for this year. 12, maybe 15 inches around the Beltway can't be ruled out. But it, bears watching. It's going to be the temperature regime is going to be hard to predict as it looks now for this upcoming winter. But preliminary thoughts are right here at CWG.news/winter. Chad, thanks for this. I did not know. A drought emergency declaration in Washington County, Maryland. It's very dry there, yes, indeed, with the drought. Patrick, any really cold sub-freezing low temps between now and November 20th? I don't think any more big freezes are expected in the next, that's a week or more, right? So let's first give you the forecast at a glance here so you can see around the Beltway, pretty darn warm. But then let me give you kind of the medium term for temperatures, and this gives me kind of an indication with high temperatures and low temperatures kind of maybe running above average with moderate probability. For next work week, I think major sub-freezing low temperatures between now and November 20th are decently off the table. Can't rule out one very cold morning. And officially, just so you know, the growing season has ended, and so you won't see any more frost or freeze advisories from the National Weather Service out of Sterling, Virginia. But I hope that answers your question, Patrick. Charlene, you need the rain there in Pennsylvania as well. The wells are running low in south central Pennsylvania. I'm very sorry to hear that. Indeed, the rainfall deficits and droughts do extend up toward you in central Pennsylvania, or at least abnormally dry. So I'm not surprised to hear hydrological issues there in south central PA. Paul is going to have a car race on Veterans Day Saturday. So around 8 a.m. could have a few raindrops, I think. I don't want to rule those out, but I also think there's still plenty of room for timing changes and rain intensity changes, which is, a quarter, third of an inch on Friday night, between late Thursday and early Saturday morning. I wouldn't change plans right now, Paul, for Saturday. All right, I think I've caught up on all of your comments from YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Happy Sunday, Adandra. It's good to see you as well. And Tyler, our winter outlook should be out before Thanksgiving. We're aiming for maybe as early as a week from now. But here are preliminary thoughts at CWG.news/winter right there. But typically mid-November Thanksgiving timeframe for our official CapitalWeatherGang.com winter outlook is coming your way. All right, I'm on the air about another minute. So Chad, hope you are well and I answered your question. And let's see, we've got Patrick. You've winterized your irrigation. That's a good move. So you still have a little bit of time if you need to get the hardcore winterization done in the coming couple weeks, I think. All right, Julia from YouTube. Cam, your daughter is driving from Virginia to California November 17th. I would go the southern route. Don't go up toward the Dakotas. That is my recommendation this time of year for mid-November. Go through kind of the south central United States if you can. And then you're most welcome, David. I will see you next Sunday. And Tyler, these 5 p.m. sunsets are a little bit gloomy. With our earlier and earlier sunsets now at 5:03, you'll talk to me before 5 p.m. Through the winter solstice. It's going to be a hard adjustment for all of us with these earlier sunrises and earlier sunsets. But I'm Camden Walker on Facebook, X, and YouTube for CapitalWeatherGang.com. We're live right now. I've enjoyed talking to all of you for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. Allergy sufferers, we're doing pretty okay with pollen and spores under control. Let me leave you with our Forecast at a glance there on the graphic here, with rain chances at the end of the week after we bounce between 60s and 70s on alternating days before those rain chances move in. Hopefully, at the end of the week, time for that to change for rain amounts and timing. As we get into the weekend, it could be cooler, probably mostly dry, but my latest PM update right here at capitalweathergang.com or the direct link at CWG.news/latest. I'm Camden Walker signing off. Charlene, you're most kind. Really good seeing you as well. And good luck with everything, Paul, this weekend. And Julia, you're most welcome. You have a great week as well, Chad. And everyone hang in there with these earlier sunsets and loss of evening light. We'll kind of adjust by the time I talk to you next Sunday for our weekly Sunday sunset chat. Then take care and enjoy the decently serene weather for most of the week. Bye for now.